with Cooking with Keith. Today we're going to be doing something fun. We're in the bakery at Valeria. We've been in the front, we've been in the back kitchen, now we're in the bakery. This is where we do all of our home baked breads for the restaurant, from baguettes to pan de mie, focaccia, and today we're going to be doing our pizza dough. We have two styles of pizza we do at Valeria. We do a Neapolitan style up front in the wood-fired oven, and this is a more of a traditional American style, New York style pizza that we do in the bakery. And we have a stone hearth double-decked oven that we use for all of our breads and our pizza back here. And we use organic flour from Central Milling that we're going to be using with some filtered water, some local honey, and some organic yeast. Typically we try to use fresh yeast. We've been having actually a problem the last 2 weeks getting fresh yeast. So we're using organic Red Star, which is a great substitute if you don't have fresh yeast. So, and this is what's more commonly available to the home cook. Now we're going to get started with measuring everything out. We're going to do 1,000 grams of flour. We'll set that to the grams. There are 1,000 grams. We're going to put our packet of yeast in. So this is one package, is about 9 grams of yeast. And we're going to put, we have sea salt from Sicily, fine sea salt, and we're going to put 20 grams of sea salt. So we're going to tear this out to 0 and put 20 grams. I'm going to be very careful here so I don't accidentally put in too much. There we go, 20 grams. And now we'll simply mix that together with our fingertips, get it all together, and we'll do our water. So this is going to be about a 70% hydration, so we're going to be going for 700 grams of water. So we're going to zero this out. And we have some filtered water, and we'll put 700 grams. And there we have it. And to this, we're going to add 20 grams of olive oil. There we are. And we'll just add that into the water. This is extra virgin olive oil. And lastly, we'll do 1 spoonful of local honey. This isn't used in the Neapolitan style, but we use it in the American style pizza. And it gives a nice zing to the pizza dough and gives it a nice lift and crispiness when we bake it. So I'm just going to stir that spoon around there and get the extra honey off of there. There we go. With our honey. And now we'll put the bowl onto our KitchenAid. Actually, we'll take that off and put the flour in first.
You could say next we add our flour in.
And now we add our flour in. I always typically put the liquids first and then the dry ingredients on top. We'll snap that in. And we'll raise it up and we'll simply get that going on a low speed right now. You don't want to put it on high right now because the flour may go flying all over your bakery or your kitchen. And we'll just let that go for about a minute before we turn up the speed. And now that the dough is getting more mixed and there's And there's no dry flour twirling about. We're going to go ahead and raise the speed. And we'll simply let this go for about 4 minutes. And now that it's been 4 minutes, we're going to turn our dough mixer off and remove it. And the consistency we're looking for is kind of tacky. It's going to be a little sticky. You can see it, you can pull it up, and it's going to develop, of course, so we're going to let it rest. We're going to take it out with a nice flexible bread spatula. We'll take it out, put it on our table. No flour right now. And now we'll simply get our dough together. I'm going to switch to a metal one, which is more stable and easy to push the dough around. We're not going to turn it over. We're going to keep it, tighten it up a little bit by pushing. And we're going to push the dough and create tension. And you'll feel it when you push. And again, we don't turn it over. We just push along the bottom. One of my favorite bakers of all time is Richard Bertinet. He lives in Bath, England. He has a great cookery school and bakery school. And I had the fortune of taking my daughter there in 2017, and we did a great 1-week professional baking class with him. So we did a 1-week baking class with him. And learned so much. He's a great baker, and he has a great school. If you ever want to go do something fun for a week or two or more, it's a great school in the lovely city of Bath, England. But he does the slap and fold technique where you bring the dough, slap it down, and capture air in the middle so it lightens it up. So even though we use the mixer, we like to start it with the mixer and do a little bit of the slap and fold, and then pushing it around. Again, not turning it over. And that's a great place for it to be right about now. And we'll simply store it in the bowl that we put the flour in earlier. And we'll let it rest for about an hour. And we'll cover it with a couche. You can get these online, and they're great for using for bread. They let a little bit of air in, but they stop the majority of it. So it's a great way to do bread, and always have these around. And we have some dough that's already prepared earlier, and we're going to we will actually put a little flour down on this. Get a little flour down, and we'll scrape this out. And we typically will spread it out and give it a little fold over, press down again, let it go back on its seam that you've created there. You can see the formation. We did this actually last night, and we let it sit in the fridge overnight. So you can see the development, the bubbles, the nice, it's really a light, fluffy dough, full of life. So we're going to divide this in half using our bench scraper. And we typically use 280 grams for our pizza doughs here. So we'll get our scale set to 0 again, and we'll simply start doing 280 grams. A little heavy. 284, 282, 280. There we go. And we just keep replicating until we use up the dough. 276. There we are, 280, and we'll just keep doing this until we're finished. Usually if I get within 5 grams, we're happy. So if it's 282, that's no problem at all. 278, no problem at all. Anyone can tell the difference between a 278 gram and a 280 gram pizza ball. More power to them. There we are, 280 on the dot. If you get one left over, like this is 300 grams, it's just a bonus for the lucky customer to get a bigger pizza. There we go. Now we're done with our scale. And now we take our pizza balls, we simply grab them, put them in your left hand, and use your index finger to push down and keep pushing inwards. And using your outer rim of your index finger and thumb to keep holding it and readjusting as you push down. Then you have a nice ball of pizza ball right there, pizza dough. And again, I can feel the liveliness. You can feel that. I can hear it squeak when I pull. I can hear some of the bubbles pop. It's going to make a great pizza. And so when you get used to this, of course, you can do a little faster. So we do that. We don't have time to spend a minute on each ball when we're at the restaurant, so we just kind of get going faster. Get it ready. Just like that. You get really used to this and you start doing it with multiple repetitions and doing pizza for months. You'll get used to doing this very fast. And we're just pulling it and not turning it over, but letting it roll and tighten, get some tension. And then we'll just keep doing that. And there we have it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11. That's about what we get out of a double recipe. So this is 11. We made a double recipe last night in our bigger mixer back here. But I'm doing a smaller mixer today because this is typically what a home consumer would have rather than this big large one that holds 35 pounds of dough. And these will last good 2-3 days in your own fridge. If you keep them airtight and take them out a few hours before you're going to use them, that always helps. When they're real cold, it's kind of hard to form them. This has been sitting out for a couple of hours, so it's plush, it's supple and easy to use. But if it comes straight out of the fridge, you may have to do a little more work to get it stretched out. And now that we have our pizza dough ready, let's talk toppings. In Italy, they would have your classic margherita pizza, which is fior di latte or buffalo mozzarella with basil and tomato sauce, done in a wood-fired oven typically, and it's a fantastic pizza. Here in America, we're going to be doing a little more non-traditional pizzas as well as traditional. We do both here. And we're going to be doing a pepperoni and mushroom today, and we'll be doing a ricotta and sausage calzone. And as well, we're going to be doing something very non-traditional. We call it the Blasphemy because it would be blasphemous in Italy to put pineapple on a pizza, but it's been very well received here and it goes very well in America. So gasp all you Italians, but we're going to have a little fun with this. So now we're going to stretch our dough. We're going to go around. I put a little bit of flour. We're going to hand stretch this one. But if you do have a hard time with hand stretching or the thought of it, use a beveled rolling pin. You can actually go in and not crush the outer side, the cornicione they call it in Italy. So we're going to keep doing this by hand, but I just wanted to show you this bevel really helps. It's thick in the middle and bevels out to be thin so that it is above the middle part, actually stretches the dough more, and if you're careful, you can avoid crushing the outer side, the cornicione they call it in Italy, because that has a lot of flavor and it puffs up and it creates a beautiful looking pizza. So we're stretching, we're moving it around. We're not really going to toss these in the air. That's a nice little trick for New York City bakeries, pizzerias. But delicate dough like this, it's really not a good idea to throw it around in the air. So we're getting there, nice and stretched out. And the more you stretch it and let it rest, the more it gets more and more supple. So that's a nice alive dough. I can see all the bubbles in there forming. It's a beautiful looking pizza dough. So we're going to get our peel. We use a wooden peel here. And I use just a little bit of Caputo flour, semolina. just to lightly dust our wood peel. And just a little bit. You don't want a lot because a lot of that flour will get in the oven and it'll burn and smoke, and it's just not a nice scene there. So we'll put that, and we have a signature process here at Valeria where we really think it brings a lot of extra flavor to the pizza. So what we'll do is what many people typically do, but we don't mix. We use a little bit of dried Sicilian oregano, and we use garlic oil. We fresh grate garlic with a microplane into some extra virgin olive oil. And we also use some flaky sea salt. And we use our San Marzano tomatoes. We use these, the Italian canned San Marzanos, and we simply blitz them with a hand blender, or you could do it with a regular blender. And we just add just a touch of sea salt, and that's all we do. We leave the tomato, the purity of the tomato there, and we add supplemental taste components to really spritz up the pizza and make it alive. When you take a bite, you'll have these little individual parts that aren't homogenized into one sauce. So now we're going to go ahead and we'll start with our pepperoni mushroom. And we'll start in the middle and with a ladle, and we'll simply work our way out carefully. And now we'll do our signature components here. We put a little bit of molten sea salt, just a little bit of flakes, just a pinch. And then we're going to use the olive oil that has the grated, finely microplaned garlic. And we're just going to put a little around. And then we're going to put a little bit of this dried oregano that we put through a sieve, and to get all the woody stems out. It comes in a package of stems and all from Sicily. So we make sure we just get the soft leaves. And there we have it. And now we have some nice shredded mozzarella. We use a brand called Grande, which is from Wisconsin, and they use no preservatives or additives, so it's a very natural cheese in comparison to most that have anti-caking agents and preservatives to extend their life. So this is a very natural cheese. So we like using this a lot. It has a nice buttery, rich flavor. And now some pepperoni. We use cut pepperoni. It's designed to cook and kind of curl up into a little cup on your pizza. And people really seem to like that a lot. We'll put that around. We did some mushrooms earlier, slice them up thin. Important to do them thin, fairly thin, so they don't sweat on the pizza. The more cook and evaporate, any moisture in there kind of evaporates into the air, rather than, if it's really thick, it'll actually exude water on your pizza. And if you've ever seen a pizza where people aren't used to making pizzas much, they put a lot of real thick sliced bell peppers and onions, and the pizza comes out quite watery, so you have to be careful about the cutting things thin. Really helps. And then lastly, we're going to put a little bit of grated Parmesan. So one of our tasks at the restaurants is to constantly be grating with a microplane our Parmesan and Pecorino Romano for our various dishes. So we'll put a little bit over the top. And then lastly, we always have a squirt bottle of extra virgin olive oil. We'll just put a little squirt of this on around the edge, very thin stream, and then a little bit over there. And now it's ready for the oven. We'll just stretch it one last time, make sure it's not going to stick to the peel. We'll give it a little test. Looks good. And we'll get it in the oven. It'll take about, we have our oven set at 570. So this will cook at about a 5-minute cooking time. At home, 500 to 550 degrees, maybe add a minute. So here we go. And in the meantime, we'll do our Blasphemy pizza. I'm going to go ahead and do, since this is such an American blasphemous pizza, I'm going to go ahead and use the rolling pin just to kind of show you how that works, and without hand stretching this one. So we'll kind of get it going, turn it around. I'll turn it over, and then I won't add any more flour on this side. This will be the side that we'll dress. put the condimento on. Let's see here. So we're getting there. It's good. I can't resist. I got to pick it up. It's a very tactile thing working with dough, and it's fun. You can stretch it and feel the life in it. It's really fun when you have such a nice supple dough. And we'll have the recipe listed below. Look at that dough. Beautiful bubbles of life in there. The yeast doing its job. It's alive and well. So now we'll get to going on topping it. We'll get our peel again. Lightly put a little, just a touch of semolina. We'll get that on there. Spread it out nicely. And we'll do our four-step process of adding our tomato sauce again. And if you want it a little juicier, sometimes I do with this pizza in particular, I'll put another half ladle of tomato sauce. And then we'll do our oregano again. Garlic oil. It really doesn't matter if you put the garlic oil or oregano first, as long as it goes on there. A little touch of sea salt, of molten sea salt. And now we'll put our mozzarella. Nice healthy amount here. Now we'll put a little Parmesan, a touch of olive oil, and we'll put our ingredients. Start with our pineapple, the biggest pieces, kind of evenly space those out. It's a blasphemy pizza because Italians would never, most of them would never think of putting pineapple on a pizza. And I've been to Naples and seen the forbidden signs, the sign of a pineapple with a X across it saying this is not allowed in Naples. So it's something they take very strongly. This is why we call this the blasphemy pizza, because it's blasphemous to an Italian pizza maker. Lastly, we'll put our diced ham. They wouldn't mind the ham, they would mind definitely the pineapple in general. There we are. And then we'll do the stretch to make sure that it's not sticking. A little bang. It's looking good. We'll get it in the oven. And that'll be ready in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
And there's our lovely pepperoni mushroom. It's a very nicely done pizza. You can hear the crunch. And I'm going to actually put a little bit more Parmesan. And then you'll hear the crunch when we slice it. You can see the development in the crust. It's very nice and soft, well developed. And you have the nice cup pepperoni and the nice cheese. So we're going to take a bite of this. It's very hot. But we'll go ahead and go for it. Look at that stringy cheese, delicious cheese. Wow, really good cheese. Lovely flavor, nice and light. Little char on the bottom from the stone floor. And that cheese is so stringy and delicious. It's really good. Fantastical. Really good. I think you'll really enjoy making this at home. We're following our steps. It's a great pizza. Your family will be really happy with this. And in the meantime, we'll start stretching out our dough for our calzone. I don't usually worry about using the pen on this. It's going to be folded over, so just give it a nice roll out. Now you want this kind of thin though, you don't want to leave it thick. So it'll take a lot longer to cook. So again, I can't resist, we've got to pick it up, feel the dough. It's nice, good quality dough. There we are. And a word of caution on a calzone or a stromboli, you don't want to put a lot of liquid because it can make it too wet. So we're going to start with a little bit of ricotta, Actually, we're going to put our sausage down first. It'll be a little bit of a layer of protection. We'll put that Italian sausage. You can cut it a little, pull it into little pieces as well. This is pre-cooked already, so it won't, you don't have to worry about it being raw. And another thing I like to put in my calzones is a little fresh basil. This is actually from our garden, right outside. So we're going to put a few basil leaves down, and we'll tear them, put them down. We'll put a little ricotta. We'll spread that around. And a little Parmesan. And a little mozzarella. And we're going to put just a little bit of the tomato sauce right on the top, right all the way through. And we'll check our pizza over here. Let's give it a little bit of a rotation. And now we'll simply bring this over and crimp. Give it a little push down. And we'll just do a simple crimp, just keep going over and over. Put one finger down and your thumb over. And there we go. And we'll get our pizza peel. We'll put that right on. I'm going to get a little bit more of this semolina. Lay it over the semolina. And lastly, we're going to put a little bit of egg. We're going to brush it on. Just one whole egg I just blended earlier. I like to put it over the edge as well. I like to not let it get on the board as much as possible, just so it slides off the peel easily into the oven. So when I go over to this edge, I'll just lightly brush it. And I like to put a little bit more Parmesan right on here. And just a touch of sea salt. A little crunch on top. And that'll go into the oven too. It looks like our other pizza is ready. We'll go in for our other pizza. Beautiful. Look at that. Bubbling, nice crispy crust. Wow, look at that. It's enough to make an Italian cry. We're going to cut into it and try it out. And here we are. Really nice. I actually like the zing of the pineapple with the ham and the Calabrian chili. Makes a great combination. Enough to make an Italian cry, but it's still delicious. Aloha. Now we're going to take our calzone out. Should be ready. There we are, nicely toasted and brown. That looks like a beautiful calzone. It got nice and cooked. And we'll just let it rest for about a minute or two, because it's going to be so hot and oozy. It's good if I let it rest about 2 minutes and then cut it, it'll actually be a little more stable and not just pour out quickly. And before I do, I'll put a little bit of Parmesan on the plate as if I were to send it out to a table. And then as well, a little bit of garnish of some freshly torn basil leaves right over the top. Give it a nice perfume with the heat. And there you go. And now that it's been a minute or two, we're going to go ahead and slice this up a little. See how it looks inside. Nice and gooey. It's got a lot of nice and gooey. It's got a lot of nice ingredients showing through. It'd be lovely with a nice salad. And it's a little too hot for me to eat right now, but I'm sure it's delicious. Let me take a little section off. I can more easily get in my mouth without burning myself. A little spoon here. Super delicious with the ricotta. The ricotta really makes this dish with the sausage and the mozzarella and the parmesan. And then I can taste that little bit of basil in there, so it's really nice. It's a lovely, lovely dish to have with a salad for a complete meal, and it has the sausage and the cheeses. It's a great, great meal. I really like that. So there you have it, 3 different pieces, 3 different ways. Just remember, you can do this, just follow our steps. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. And if you'd like to see a particular recipe, please leave a comment for us, and we may see it in the future. And bon appetit, though.